So as you can see here, here's the consignment summary screen that you might be familiar with. So what we want to do here is just create a new consignment. I'll add the devices to the consignment. You can see that status check happening within NLIS, and then send that through, change over to the receiver, and see what that means from a receiver's perspective, and then facilitate the movement within NLIS. So to create a new consignment, the quickest way is to use a template, and that's a feature that we encourage people to use if you're doing a lot of high frequency consignments to the same destination. You can set up multiple templates to facilitate that and pre-fill a lot of the information. So for this one, we'll just select this template. It goes through, fills out the destination, all the necessary information that we can grab from a template. I'll just select and make sure that we're moving it today. And then in the interest of speed, the only other thing I need to do here is really just sign the declaration. And then go back and just make sure that the livestock that I've got in here is up to date. So for this movement, we just want to do 19 head. We're shifting some dorpers, and I'll just make sure that all of them have ear tags in the consignment. So once I've filled in all that information, I can then submit that consignment and it's ready to go. Once we submit that, it's visible to the receiver at this point. As you can see here, we have this new banner and it says, optional. If you want to start that movement off the property, then this is how you do it. So the quickest way to do this is by adding the devices, and you'll see that you have an option to either upload via a file or add them manually. Depends on how you store your tags within your own operations, but the upload file option, we can accept most of the scanner outputs, and it just removes the unwanted information and just loads up the device IDs. So to do that, we choose a file, and we can add that to the consignment and then push it through. At this point, it's going to validate those devices against NLIS and can play back a bit of information. So what is this screen telling me? It's telling me that I've added in too many devices. So the number of devices that I have added in is over the number of headcount that I've put in the eNVD. So that might indicate a bit of a reconciliation error in terms of how many you're moving and how many you've loaded. But it also can play back errors and warnings to you. So in the top here, the error, that's kind of maybe a bad read from the device scanner. So we can, if it's not relevant, or you want to edit, you can have the option to delete that out of the list of devices that you're adding. And it just plays back and makes sure that you want to do it. This warning here is important too. So what this is telling me is that this device that you've loaded up is not actually registered to your current pick. So that may mean that animal has come onto your property, but you haven't done the transfer within NLIS. So it's just calling out that transfer should happen before you then transfer them off, so that you're maintaining the life history of the animal, and you're not introducing questions from the receiver when they try and do their movement. So again, we can just, for a simple demonstration, delete that one. It's just been added by mistake. And then the final one is really the other check that we can do is also just call out if there's a species mismatch. So if you've added in accidentally a cattle tag into the consignment or vice versa, depending on the type of consignment you're doing, it would also call that out too. Bearing in mind that some of these warnings, they will not stop the transfer from happening, but they will then play back once that movement's done in NLIS. So we're trying to front run these issues up here and make them very visible to the people within the consignment, that there may be some inconsistencies with the devices that are moving from property to property. So finally, we can just, I'll get rid of that warning too, so that you can see that now we've got no issues detected. Everything seems to be good. We've all got green ticks, so that those So those devices are ready to go and can be reviewed by the receiver. So I'll just switch profiles now and become the receiver of the consignment. So again, you can see I've got an incoming consignment, and what it tells me here in this column that you might notice is new is displaying the status of this consignment. You can see that the little tag icon is filled in, so it means that the devices have been added. What I can do from here is have a look at those devices. So remembering that once this consignment is submitted, the receiver can see it instantaneously. If I have a look at the view devices, I can see what's been added by the sender, and I can see that there's no issues. But what it's telling me here is that if I want to do the movement in NLIS on my own behalf, I need to switch the profile. And what that means is that you need to have your NLIS account linked to your MyMLA profile as well as your LPA so that you can tell the system that it's you doing the movement. And that's quite important because if you don't switch your profile, you may try and move onto your pick, but the system won't let you do that. The other thing that it locks down is the ability to edit. So you'll notice that you won't have the access that you expect. So it's quite important that you remember to switch your profile. What does that mean? So if we go back to the consignment summary, you'll notice that I have multiple profiles linked to the account that I'm using for the demonstration. I need to just flip down to my NLIS ID one, which is this one here. Once I select that and then go back into this consignment, I can see that I can now complete the NLIS movement because I'm interacting with the eNVD through the right profile. So to do the movement, I can see that I've got no issues detected, and then the move on to my pick option is available to be selected, and I do that, and it's failed. Nothing like demoing things in the live. But what that means is that movement will be submitted to NLIS, and then you'll get an upload ID. And if you need to go into NLIS, you'll have that reference, and you can make sure that that movement has been done on your behalf.